stories coming up. First, our top story this half an hour, the Houston Rockets now entangled in the Hong Kong protests. One tweet sparking the firestorm. The now deleted tweet by the general manager of the Rockets, Daryl Morey, read this: "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong." Major sponsors and China's Basketball Association responded, saying that they will no longer work with the team. Joining us right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning. So,
well now we know that the Rockets have rolled over and succumbed to the Chinese.
If you had asked me 3 or 4 days ago, what do the Houston Rockets have to do with the Hong Kong riots, I would have said nothing. But we know that's not the case. So this is not a case of freedom of speech. This is a case of what speech works best to sell your product. You know, the First Amendment restrains the government. There is no First Amendment, obviously, in China, and they are unaccustomed to having anybody publicly criticize them, much less an entity like the NBA, which they are wooing to come over there. There are, I believe, a couple of games scheduled to be played there, even involving the former New Jersey and now Brooklyn Nets, for which I am a strong supporter from when they played in New Jersey. So the question is, when you make a political statement which is protected under American law that affects your product in China, should your bosses force you to retract the statement? The bosses are going to do what's best for the product. And that's what happened here. You may, with all your heart, support what the general manager of the Rockets said, but if it's going to impair the ability to market basketball in China, he's got to think twice before he makes.
Well, that's what's interesting, Judge, too. Is it? Well, it's kind of it's interesting in a couple phases that he said it in the first place.
Yes,
because you had to know
it was unprovoked.
It was unprovoked, Judge, and it was going to be inflammatory. Plus, some interesting things about the Rockets. That was Yao Ming's team that drafted him, that kind of introduced kind of this whole, Chinese players in the NBA. And the fact, too, that we've got, like you said, more and more games and more engagement with the Chinese. Huge market. We talked about this earlier, Jack, about how big the market is to the NBA in China and how they don't want to screw it up this time.
They don't, but they always talk about social justice, right? This reminds me of the NFL kneeling debate. What happened in the NFL kneeling debate, people got offended that they were going against the flag, so everyone came to a head. This is the same thing that needs to happen with this situation, because, at some point, this convenient social justice, when it fits your pocketbook, needs to change. You got to be about principles. And I think that you see that overall in society right now in America, because everything that we're showing the kids is that if something's convenient, then stand up for it. If it's not convenient for you, then what happens to principles? Everything else is thrown out the door.
I agree with what you say, but the Chinese market is not like the American market. If the government doesn't like a message that accompanies the product, they won't allow the product to be sold.
Right.
It's as simple as
that.
So
then maybe the Houston Rockets shouldn't be so interested in going into the Chinese market. I mean, this is all about money.
Yes.
How about human rights?
Yes, you're right. It is all about money.
This isn't just a Houston Rockets issue. This is an NBA issue.
Yes.
This is the NBA and Adam Silver and his buddies who run the league wringing their hands over China rather than worrying about the United States. They're choosing communism over one person who is speaking out in favor of democracy in Hong Kong. That is the decision that they're making. Ooh, you can't make the communist government mad. They've got 1 million people in concentration camps. They spy on their own people through AI and facial recognition. There is no freedom of the press. There is no free internet.
Right.
And they're stealing from America.
Yeah.
And that's what they're worried about. They're worried about China. You can't say anything that makes the communists mad.
Yeah.
But they're not worried about the fans here in the United States. I think Connell McShane yesterday tweeted, he said, it's hilarious that the NBA has fouled up so epically that they've united the people in America against the league.
Yeah, and don't forget what Carrie Lam is trying to do right now, this emergency move that you're not allowed to wear a facial mask. You're not allowed to wear a mask in the protest. Why do you think that is? Because China has their facial recognition cameras everywhere, and they want to see exactly who are at those protests, because you know what? You're going to get it. There will be consequences for it.
And most of those protesters are still wearing the masks. So people get arrested for wearing masks. In the act of the arrest, the mask mask is destroyed and nobody can prove in a court who was wearing the mask, they get bailed out and they go right back out to wear the mask.
And by the way, what you just said, that's why I have a problem with Google having an AI lab in Beijing. Google walked away from the Pentagon Project Maven contract, and now they're working with China, and there's no separation of military and commercial use.
Well,
when you have an innovation in China, the first place it goes is to the military. So don't tell me Google's not working with the Chinese
military.
Exactly
right, and Google is poking the bear, meaning at some point, when the stuff that's going on in Washington is over, the government can legislate like it's supposed to. They're going to address how American technology falls in the hands of those who would use it to harm us.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to talk with Palmer Luckey coming up. He's our special guest today. He's the founder of Anduril Industries, and they got the Project Maven contract. Google walked away from it. Anduril Industries has it. They make the drones for the Pentagon. So anyway, really good conversation, and it's a great debate, and we got to turn to this one because this is also important. The Supreme Court